All right, today we're going to take a look at a standard Midi drum track. This drum track is from the song Springsteen by Eric Church. It's 104 beats per minute. It's a professional track. It's been done extremely well. Give it a listen. Okay, we're going to go to the events list, Control E. The first thing I want to point out, I want you to check all the velocities as we go along here. They're all different. If you open up a MIDI file and everything is set to 127 at the highest volume setting, velocity setting, you can pretty well guarantee it's not a professionally done file. It's very important that you have different velocities in all of your different parts of the drum track, your kick, your snare, to give it a real feeling. Okay. We're going to go back here. We're going to look at the beginning. There were a lot of extra controller messages in here that I got rid of. And I just stuck to the basics of 121 reset, 91 reverb, 93 is chorus, expression 127, that's usually set to the highest. Okay, and this one here, modulator, we don't need that. We can get rid of that for a drum track. Okay, I want to come back here. I've already set this up with my Roland JV1010. The Roland JV1010 gives you a tremendous amount of choices once you get it all set up. These are all the drum tracks that you have access to within this sound module. Okay. A lot of different kits here that you can use. Once your sound module is properly set up. I just have it set to general MIDI right now, so I can't access those other sounds except the the brush set here. Gives you a little brush sound. But this song was put together with the snare, the main set here, okay? One important thing I want to mention to you is when you go to the events list, when you open up a brand new track, a lot of times you will see the volume message in the events list. Okay, whenever you see the volume message set within the events list, it overrides this particular volume controller right here on the front page. And this is where you do all your mixing of all your tracks a lot of times for the MIDI tracks. So what I normally do, I simply delete that volume controller message because it will override the volume on the front page here, on the main interface. Okay? So I have that set extremely low. And it will take precedence over the other one. And sometimes when you're trying to do mixing and those volume messages are in there, you don't know why you can't get the right mix. So you have to delete those, get them out of there. Okay. The other thing I want to show you is if you don't have your patches set correctly, if it's just empty like this one here and not set up, when you go to the piano roll, you will see the piano over here on the left side. It won't show you the individual names of each part of the drum kit. Okay? So in order to get that working, you have to set the patch up correctly here. And then when you go back to your piano roll, all the names are listed. Hybrid kick, piccolo snare, pedal hi-hat, open hi-hat. Okay, so this is a very powerful tool here. You can do so much with it. Maracas, okay. Lots of great things you can add. And that's only on this one particular patch. Natural snare 2. You got a lot of choices here. So you can really come up with some nice sounds. So as we go through this track, it's set to 104 beats per minute. You can adjust that. The beautiful thing is you can use these tracks for your own songs. Set your own tempo. You can use different parts of the track. And I'll just show you what happens here. We're just on the start section of this. As the song builds up, in the chorus, it changes. You can see the hi-hat picks up. They add this low tom along with the snare. Doesn't sound that great to me, but it's in there. You can take it out if you wish. And then there's a new section coming up here where the kick comes in, 4 on the floor. So there's different elements of this MIDI track that you could use for your own songs. And you can actually cut and splice this up to use it in different parts. Okay. And don't forget, you can also set up your markers. F11 throughout your song. Now, I don't necessarily use this in Cakewalk, but just think of this as a toolbox. You can use this to prepare tracks and get them ready. And sometimes I'll record this track into Reaper and use it. Okay. Sometimes I will just import this MIDI track into Reaper, use it with Addictive Drums. Or you can record it into Reaper as an audio file. Okay. There's many uses for this. And it's very powerful. You get a lot of use out of these, even if you just use Cakewalk for drums. Okay? Because it's extremely easy to edit drums. Okay? Let's just take a look at a few things that you can do. If you look at this track here, the piccolo snare, it's set around 105. Okay? It varies throughout the song, 106, but it's in that range. If you found that piccolo snare a little too strong, you simply highlight it. You can see how they've turned darker. Go up to Edit, Scale Velocity. Okay. You could go 90 here, and when you hit the percentages checkbox, what that means is it'll take all of these numbers and drop them by 10%. Okay? So that was 105. Now it's 94. So you can really fine-tune all of the aspects, all of the different parts of this track. 95. So it took that snare and reduced it. Okay? By 10%. So I'm going to undo that. Well, it's not working. The other thing you can do, for some reason I can't get that to work. You can come back up here, scale velocity. You can reverse it. Go to 110, 110. It'll raise it by 10%. So we're up to 103. So there's a little variation there. Let's take a look at the kick. 102. Okay. 102. Usually keep the kicks quite standard. Okay. Now, let's take a look at random velocity. This is kind of cool. Run cal messages. Okay. Random velocity. So that's at 102. Enter the maximum velocity value. I'm going to go 105. Okay. And then I'm going to go 100 for the minimum. Okay. So what it does, it analyzes that track and it changes them 102. 104. 102, it likes that 102. 105. So it gives it some variation. So it's a really nice feature. And of course, you could highlight the whole track and do everything at once. Okay? So those are some examples of how you can use a MIDI drum track. And of course, you save it as a standard MIDI file. Okay? You do have different options here. Save as types. Format 1 is the one you want to use. Okay? If you save it as a Cakewalk file, it's still a MIDI file, but a proprietary Cakewalk file. Okay? This one here, MIDI file format 1, that's the one you want to use when you're saving your files. Okay? So that's it for today, folks. Europaman, over and out.